The time has come for more of Slop Joe. Not too fond of Sloppy Joes. As per Sneck's request, and because we did it last year as well, for AVGN specifically, time is cruel, it's true. Let's do some reaction slop, lads. Angry Video Game Nerd, Nosferatu, SNES, let's go. I do like his new intro. I do genuinely think it's fantastic. Can we skip the lame remix? No.
It's the spookiest time of the year, and with Halloween right around the corner, it's nice to see so many streaming apps packed to the gills with gill men and other monsters and awesome horror
I haven't
content.
seen Monster
And what
Squad
about
in like
those forgotten
15
gems only
years,
found
dude.
on
Jesus
VHS
Christ.
or streaming
I
outside
should
of the
watch
country?
Monster Squad.
Well, with ExpressVPN by your side, nothing can stand
Is
in your way.
ExpressVPN the one that got, like,
ExpressVPN
its
is
data
the
breached a
ultimate
couple years
skeleton
back?
key that opens up the
Or is that
video
Nord?
crypt full of streaming content typically
Chat, you're
hidden
more
from your
knowledgeable on this stuff
geolocation.
than me.
Apps like Netflix and Disney Plus bury content away from peering
I was gonna
eyes,
shit
depending on what
myself if
country
he
you
had
live in.
Soylent
But with
again.
ExpressVPN, you can change your location from somewhere like Transylvania to the UK, and within seconds, the movies you've been looking for.
Assuming
will
AVGN
appear in
YouTube
a puff
poops
of
would be
smoke.
appreciated,
And
probably.
with
Yeah.
over 100 countries to choose from worldwide, whether you're hunting vampires,
Onion reviving around the end of October is wild. It is?
stitching together the horror of
I thought that was
Frankenstein,
Nord.
only
Was it?
available in the Netherlands, ExpressVPN
Why are we
will
watching his
always
ad
be
break?
there to help you find exactly what you need.
Eh,
Find out how you can
I'm
get
lazy.
yourself an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free.
What if you
by
want
going to
ExpressVPN, Sneck? What if you
expressvpn.com/cinemassacre,
want it
or by
specifically?
clicking the link in the description below.
Tonight's Halloween marathon continues.
Yeah!
Assholes, tonight at 9.
Well, seen that one before. Yeah, I'm getting tired of the same old horror movies. You know what? I'm gonna go see that new Nosferatu movie. Yeah, there's a new Nosferatu, which is a remake of the remake.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
very
weird one,
curious
isn't
about
it?
that, so gonna go check it out.
I've seen a few YouTubers get sponsored by 3 different VPNs that can't be using all 3 of them.
So
You don't
it's
know
not
that.
out yet. It comes out on Christmas Day.
Why?
All the days of the year to release a horror film. Why pick Christmas? What were they thinking?
Does it take place
Well,
on
I'm gonna
Christmas?
have to wait to see Nosferatu.
You know, we
At
talked
least
about
for now, I
Nosferatu
can
during the
play the
Castlevania
game.
segment.
That's right, the game. Yeah, Nosferatu.
Can you turn
on
James
Super
up?
Nintendo. I'm sure you have one
Let's
of
go up
two
like
possible
5
responses.
decibels, let's say.
What's Nosferatu? Well, it was the ancient Romanian word for the insufferable one, but never mind that. It was the title of the 1922 German silent horror film, which happens to be the oldest surviving adaptation of Dracula.
It's
If
true.
you already know that and you're thinking, holy shit, there's a Nosferatu game, well, see for yourself.
Is this a real game, or is that one of these fake games like when Civi invented a painkiller game? Not painkiller, Hellraiser. This looks
Holy
made up.
Shit, fuck my fucking nuts off. This looks amazing. For a 16-bit
Feels like if
game,
someone is
the graphics are
watching
very
James, they
impressive.
know what
I hope I'm not
Nosferatu
making
is.
this assessment
Yeah,
preemptively,
probably.
but I will say this game is awesome. If you're at all surprised by just the fact this game exists, well, so was I. It was released in 1995 in North America, but it wasn't until after the turn of the millennium when I first heard of it. If it was a Nintendo
Considering this is the
Power,
first time
I
I've heard
must
of
have missed
this.
it. Its obscurity has some similarities to the classic film. As the story goes, the filmmakers didn't get permission to adapt the Dracula novel, so they changed the names. For example,
Yeah, that
Dracula
makes
was
sense.
renamed Orlok. But a court ruled against it and ordered all copies of the film to be destroyed.
That's why there's a vampire
Although
in Symphony of the
obviously
Night named
some managed to
Olro.
survive, because then how the fuck are we looking at it? Though the game was never destroyed, not yet, it does feel like an unofficial Dracula. You can clearly tell from the cutscenes and especially the game over screen that it's meant to be Dracula.
Yeah, a little bit.
Some speculate that the reason they couldn't call it Dracula, or chose not to, was because of Konami having already established such a well-known franchise with the character.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'll
it's
do
so
it.
famous, I don't even think I need to say the name of this franchise. but I will. Castlevania, or Devil's Castle Dracula.
Of course you use
I'm
Castlevania.
pretty sure the
you
character was
fraud.
public domain by then, and it's worth noting that there were other Dracula games, such as Bram Stoker's Dracula.
That game's
the
terrible.
one with Fred Fuchs. But the Nosferatu game has the same type of premise. A guy goes into a castle to fight a bunch of monsters,
Just
ultimately
beats the
to face
shit out
a
of them, it looks
final
like.
vampire boss. But if there was any game it copied, it would be Prince of Persia, with its detailed character animation and controls that attempt realism.
It looks like
You have
more
to
like a beat 'em up than
painstakingly
anything.
climb
Okay,
up
there it is.
walls rather than just effortlessly hopping around. I wouldn't call this a platformer game. It's more like a cliffhanger game. So what I'm saying
I've
is,
never seen the Stallone film
Nosferatu at its
Cliffhanger.
best is Prince of Persia, and at its worst is Lester the Unlikely. But
Ugh.
let's not go there. The moves do take a while to figure out, even if you look them up or
I wonder if
somehow
the
have
Fred
the
Fuchs
original
guy's still
manual.
alive. I know
It
he's a
takes
running joke on
lot of
AVGN.
practice. I
You know, I've
actually
never been able to
ran the
tell if that was
timer
just a
out
fake
before I
dev
even
name.
had a
They do
chance
that
to try
sometimes.
all the moves. And even then, sometimes the attacks just don't want to connect. I have to address the fact that your only method of attack is punching and kicking. You know, I always find it amusing when you punch the ever-loving fuck out
Just
of a monster.
punch him into
I mean, that
dust.
takes some serious nerve to just go up to that thing and punch it.
Just
He even
kick the
raises his
shit
fists,
out of him.
goes into a fight stance like, come and get it. Gonna hook you up with some combos. Even in Doom, the reason you would ever punch demons is because you ran out of bullets. But this guy, he came here by
Does James
choice
not know
without
about the
any
Berserker
weapons.
power-up?
I mean, you could see in the opening cutscene, he arrives at the castle unarmed. I figured along the way you would pick up weapons, right? A cross, a silver dagger, some holy water. But no, there are no weapons at
Just
all.
shoulder
Who would
tackle.
have thought a vampire hunting game would be all hand-to-hand combat? And this guy doesn't seem to be a mutant or have any superpowered abilities. He's just some ordinary
He's really
looking
pissed
dude.
off.
Damn! Don't ever fuck with him! When you beat the stage boss, he shows off some moves, like you won the round. Were they trying to make a tournament fighter or a beat-em-up game? And then at the last minute it got turned into a horror-themed adventure?
Yeah,
Not
looks
to
like it.
mention, the stage 2 boss is a pair of apes. What kind of
Monkey.
theme are we going with here? I don't think they even knew what time period the game takes place. The game
Unlikely.
over screen has a photograph. At first I didn't think much of it, but after dying so many times and having to constantly look at it, I started wondering, why the hell would there be
1990 is a bit of a
Wait
random
minute,
year.
The date on it says 1990. Is that when the game is supposed to take place? I thought maybe 1890.
We need a Belmont like
In the
this.
cutscene,
Richter
he's
does have a
riding
slide
horse.
kick and a shoulder
It
tackle.
definitely
He's got that
implies
going
this is
for him.
classic Dracula time period. But no, the Ninja Turtle movie came out the same year. This guy's riding a fucking horse into a castle. And besides, that is one sorry-ass game over screen. A guy and a girl smiling in a photo? Not a tombstone or a pile of bones or blood-dripping letters that say you're dead. No, just a vacation photo that could be somebody's goddamn profile pic. MySpace.
It's the
yeah.
implication of
Isn't
tragedy,
that what
James.
the kids do these days? Huh? No?
It's you couldn't save
I'm a
your
little
girl,
behind,
and now
guys.
all you have is the
Who made
memory.
this game?
I'm gonna move my thumb away. Yep, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna move my thumb
Dramatic
away.
reveal.
SATA. Yeah, it couldn't have been LJN because I already did all the LJN games, finished them all off in my episode 200. So, SATA, who did that? Oh no.
What?
Oh, no!
There's a callback.
Now we know the extent of what we're dealing with here. Check this out. You often come to a low clearance where you have to pass through a narrow space.
Slide
You're probably
kick.
thinking you just duck and crawl, right? Or do a slide like Mega Man. Well, you'd be right that you slide, but it's not that simple. You don't just press down and A. No, you have to get a head start and then run by doing a double tap on the D-pad, and then you slide by pressing down and Y. It may seem fine enough to deal with, except the run doesn't always
The
work.
spike traps.
You're probably familiar with other games that use the double tap to run, like Battletoads and the Ninja Turtles beat-em-up games.
And only
But
those
this is
games
like a
ever.
broken version.
Never
of that.
anything from
Is
the
it
modern
supposed to be
era.
2 slow taps, 2 fast taps, or fuck it, try 3 taps. It doesn't matter. It only works when it feels like it, and that's unacceptable because there are tons of spots where you need to run.
Blech.
Whether it's a running jump or a running slide, you have to do it again and again and again. So it must be reliable. But it isn't.
What's the live
Oh, and then
system in
there's
this
times
life?
when you run by accident. Like if you're trying to walk real slow or inch yourself to a certain spot, it might trigger the run. Then
Ugh.
I realized something. It just hit me like a 10-ton pile of shit. There is no reason the double tap should be necessary at all. Couldn't run be its own button, like L or R? Those do nothing. And what about X?
Honestly, you could
or
just have
A?
run be the default
Those are
speed and
dead
don't have any,
buttons, too.
like,
the game
end lag on your
only
running stop.
uses Y
It was
and
just
B,
instant stop dead in your
attack
tracks.
and jump. You can reassign the buttons, but it doesn't matter because there's only two.
Is Black Tiger
All
the
the
most
other
recent
buttons
game
go to
James has
waste.
reviewed?
It seems this game
Oh,
was
Life of
designed
Black
for the
Tiger was an
NES,
XBLA
but
title,
this
right?
was
So
in
that's like around
1995.
2010. Yeah, that sounds
it
about
wasn't
right.
like Super Nintendo just came out. In fact, PlayStation was out by then. I already said they didn't know what genre game they were making, but they didn't even know what console they were making it for. I'm starting to think this game might not be as awesome as it first looks. Man, such potential.
One of those
Great
diamonds in the
style,
rough.
Great
You get those once in a
design.
while.
I mean, who doesn't love a good spooky adventure where you're going through a bunch of haunted scenery, fighting creatures of the night? But it's ruined by one minor peeve after another. Certain monsters drop crystals on the floor, but you have to stand in the most precise spot
it's the
to pick
worst,
them up.
isn't it?
It's like trying to pick a penny
God.
off the floor. It's not worth
I
it.
hate it every
What are
time
these
it comes up
crystals
in
for
anything.
anyway? Well, to increase your attack power and shit, but it doesn't matter. As soon as the next thing hits you, you lose them. Let's say
That's
you
rough.
open a treasure chest and get an item.
I should really get a
What would
new
be
chair
your
at
next
some point.
instinct? To walk away, right? You got the item. Done. But no. I found out there could actually be more items in the chest, so you have to keep grabbing until you've got everything. Who would think to do that? In Zelda, when you open a chest, there's only one item. That's it. You don't keep digging into the same chest. But some chests have no items at all.
This feels like they
Instead,
forgot
a
to like
shitty
implement a
ghost that
UI
pops out
menu
and
where you
hits
take things out of a
That's
chest.
a cheap shot, a gotcha trap. But everything
I
I've
should play
mentioned so
Ultima.
far is just petty poopy. The
Yeah, there's
real
that.
shit is coming up. Theoretically, it's a short game with only 6 stages. But you know what other game has only 6 stages? Ghosts and Goblins. And that's one
Yeah.
of the hardest, most ball-busting motherfuckers ever. With Nosferatu, it doesn't really get that hard until stage 3, and as far as I'm concerned, that's where the playability runs out. The problem is they give you only one life.
Oh,
When
it's
you
one of
die,
those.
It's game over and you go back to the last checkpoint, wherever that is. They're real stingy about these checkpoints.
Bleh.
After a long, punishing stretch, you'll come to a doorway, which would seem like the perfect logical place for the checkpoint, but nope. Well, that's one
I guess
way
it
to
just
make
didn't feel
6
like putting in
stages feel like
flagpoles,
100,
huh?
by turning them into endurance rounds, forcing the player to repeat the same parts over and over and over until they've mastered it. I'm playing on the normal difficulty setting, by the way, and I cannot pass stage 3.
As
Not
was the
without a
style
code,
at the time.
And I tried for hours. I gave it my best. You know, this gave me that same experience as all those tough-ass games you've seen me play over the years. It's so familiar to me now, I recognize it, like a sickness coming on. Oh, here's the sore throat phase, here comes the runny nose. You've gone through it so many times, you know the feeling. And here's how I would describe
How have I
what
never
I'd
heard of
call
this before?
the 3 phases of angry nerd
Not even
gaming.
once.
Phase 1
Oh, good, fall
is the
damage.
confusion stage. What am I supposed to do? Where do I go? This is when you learn the game, and the only way to do that is by dying a lot. You will attempt leaps
We
of faith,
love
or
trial
more
and
like
error.
faithless leaps of death. You will run into dead ends and have to find your way around the maze. You will get stuck until you realize there's a hidden path. The classic
Oh,
cryptic bullshit.
good old
And you
tried
might
and
even fall
true.
through the goddamn
Ugh.
floor. So essentially, what you're doing in phase 1 is having a free-for-all fuck-up fest until you've memorized the entire layout of the stage up till the next checkpoint.
Monkey!
Phase 2 is when the element of chance.
Remember in Witch
creeps in
Haven, if you
behind
fell in
and
spikes,
kicks
you
in
see
the
your
ass.
bleeding heart poking
This
out
is
of your
the part
chest?
when
I
you think
remember that,
nothing
yes.
major can go wrong,
Very
because
metal.
by now, you know what you're doing. You have the knowledge and the practice, but for some reason, shit doesn't work. Let's say you have to make a running jump to grab onto a wall. 3 simple actions: run, jump, grab. And if just one of those become unresponsive, look, see, just like that. It
Yeah,
didn't grab,
that'll do
but I
it.
know I was pressing up. The biggest wild card for me was
Chathany,
this
how do you
section
feel about
where you have to
instant
pass
death
over
in, like, a
spike pit
tabletop
while
session?
hopping across 3 crumbling platforms.
Like, you
and
failed the dex
being
check.
chased by some
You fell in the
obnoxious
spikes, you're
creature
dead.
that swings from the ceiling.
No, it doesn't
It
matter.
even
You have
laughs at
200
you when you
HP.
die. It seems self-explanatory enough. Just hop across the platforms. But sometimes the jump fails, and you get stuck in this crouching position. Like, what the hell? I was hitting the jump button. Sometimes you try to jump, and he just falls into the pit. And even when
everything's got to be
there's
finicky, it's
still
the
a
worst.
chance it'll happen again. I've tried holding left while tapping B, tapping left while holding B, every possible combination to hack the controls, and just when I thought I had it figured out, it stopped working.
Still never anything, right?
It's all random luck of the controls, and whenever I did pass this section, I always ended up dying somewhere else. You're expected to have a perfect marathon, which is basically like trying to flip a coin and have it land on heads multiple times in a row. When you fail, you get mad and want to try that same part over again, immediately.
Because everything else is cool, right?
Mind. But no, you have to start over and redo that whole stretch. And that brings me to Phase 3. Phase 3 is when boredom and fatigue sets in. This is the stage of the sickness when you're wondering, when is this going to be over? You're so exhausted from playing the same parts over and over that you start playing shittier because you're rushing. Your patience is gone. This is
done.
when you can barely even stand to look at the graphics anymore.
You fought Radon
Those
for an
colors and
hour and
patterns
got
are
really,
burning
really
into your
irrationally
eyeballs,
angry.
And that music has fucked its way into your mind.
Do you think James's kids watch his videos?
As you can see, I lost
Like,
my
genuinely.
mind. Yeah, I hit my.
Do you think
breaking
they're
point.
aware
I realized
of
there
the
was
extent
no
of
way I was
things?
passing stage 3, even if I spent all day. So that's when I tried the code. This allowed me the opportunity to play every stage and fail on every stage.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Fuck. Ah!
Not sure if you ever said what he planned to do about that.
Oh, fuck.
Huh. I think I remember hearing one of his kids walked in on him watching Event Horizon. That's a bad movie to walk in on, dude.
Fuck. Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I've shown you everything worthwhile. There's not that much variety. So here's the final battle with Dracula, or Nosferatu, whatever. He switches back and
Vladish.
forth between his human and bat
His wife got
forms.
mad at him
And
for
I
that.
have to say, I had my doubts, but it turns out that you still don't get any weapon, even at this point in the game. The whole mission comes down to a bare-fisted slugfest against the king of vampires. It's one thing for this guy to go around punching monsters, but to actually kill the undead Prince of Evil with his bare fucking fists makes him the most unbelievably badass character of all time. Jeez. Holy shit. Can
Films
you
them in
kill
his
a vampire
cuck
in
shed.
hand-to-hand combat?
Why do we
Is
have
that
to call
part
it
of
the
lore?
cuck shed?
Did they ever establish that in the original Nosferatu film?
Vampires can be killed by a fist to the balls or a kick to the dick.
Come to think of
Where's
it,
Darun?
this
I need him to
battle
tell me
goes
what that is in
exactly
German.
how you'd expect. I mean, look at this. I'm getting my ass handed to me, and it's pretty rare to see your life bar.
What is the worst
bigger
dad
than
walks
the
in
final
moment? I wouldn't
bosses,
know. My dad's
and
dead.
Still impossible to beat him. I managed to sneak in a combo every now and then, but it takes 2 combos to drain only half of 1 crystal.
Yeah, that's
Half.
rough.
You know what? Fuck this game. This
Sorry
is
to
one of
hear.
the most
Don't.
deceivingly shitty games I've ever played because it's almost
Ugh.
awesome. It has a great style in that Castlevania sort of way. Let's not say
Left me
Castlevania,
all of
because it only makes me wish I was playing
$250.
Castlevania. It has awful, unpredictable controls, not enough checkpoints, no extra lives, cheap traps. If you have anxiety,
This
is
game
a
probably
that
kicks
doctor
ass to watch a
would tell you
speedrun
to
for.
avoid. It's one of the most nerve-wracking pieces of shit on the Super Nintendo. By all definitions, this is Nosferatu, the insufferable one.
Oh no, it's happening again! You'd think you'd have supernatural measures in place for things like this. This has happened so much. was a fine episode. That's alright. That's not bad. That's not terrible. Ah. Alright. I guess that's it for the night, huh? Well, how about that?